now. This is a story all about how local soccer media gal flip, turned upside down. And we like to take a minute, so grab a beer so cold, and we'll tell you how we became electric gold. In White House, Tennessee, born and raised on the soccer fields was where we spent most of our days. Reading Mad Magazine and riding our bikes with a known propensity for rocking the mic. Now we're a trio of guys who are getting kinda old, cheering on the boys and gold with every bit of our soul, screaming our heads off while drinking some beers, hoping to give Cincy and Miami something to fear. Now Evan, John and Ryan are kicking the facts about Nashville SC, and they'll never come whack. If anything, we can say the show is rare. Acoustic blue and electric gold, the only colors we wear. We pull up the Goaties about 7:38, and we yell to the refs, yo home, smell you later. We look at the castle, we feeling so bold. We sit on our thrones, we're electric gold. Electric gold.
Welcome everyone, this is Electric Gold.
We're your most unprofessional,
most opinionated,
and most free Nashville Soccer Club coverage that you'll find anywhere. We don't care what the team thinks, or anyone else for that matter.
Do you want professional soccer journalism?
Or do you want the truth?
Trust us, you want the truth. And we're going to give it to you. In this episode, we'll be reviewing the offseason moves by the team and sharing our opinions about how we think this season might play out. But first, boys, it's a new season, and so we should reintroduce ourselves for the uninitiated fan. For those who have not listened before, Electric Gold is a podcast where we talk about all things Nashville SC and whatever else comes to mind in the meantime. I am Ryan, and I'm here with my good friends John and Evan. We have been friends and aficionados since we were just wee little youngins. We were on the same soccer team together when we were 7 years old or so.
Something like that.
Yeah. Right. So we've been lifelong soccer fans and friends, and we like to drink beer and talk about soccer. John, what else do you want to say about yourself?
No, that pretty much sums it up. No, let's see. I became an NSC fan in 2018 when the first USL season. I've been a member of the Assembly Supporters Club since then as well. Here's a weird aside. I was briefly the founder and I think sole member of a fan group called The Secret Garden.
Okay. Named after the movie.
Yes, totally. And yeah, in addition to being a Nashville SC fan, I am a fan of one of Liverpool FC over in England. And that pretty much sums me up.
It's a good season for you Liverpool fans.
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I would think so. Evan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, yeah. Well, I have also been following the team since 2018, but it was very late in the season. My brother was actually doing some photography with them, which is what kind of piqued my interest. So I started watching a little bit on TV and got hooked. And then 2019 started going to some games. And then I was a season ticket member and a founder for the MLS squad. Also been a member of the Assembly for maybe like 2 or 3 seasons now. And yeah, love the club, love soccer. My Premier League team is Arsenal. I'm a Gooner, so I'm happy about this weekend's match, but not happy about Liverpool's game in hand.
So it's coming down. I think Evan and I are going to have to duke it out at the end of the season. I think it's going to come down to the two of us, more or less.
Grudge match. I'm looking forward to it. My team.
If you get enough 5-star ratings, maybe we should do this. You think?
Sure.
Put on the sumo suits.
Pseudo suits, or maybe like cover you in baby oil and wrestle that way, one way or the other. My team will probably not be involved in the grudge match at all. I'm an Aston Villa fan at heart. That comes from spending a year overseas studying in school when I was in college, and I lived in the town of Birmingham. It's a large city, second largest city in England. So I grew an affinity for Aston Villa. Of course, played soccer growing up like with you guys, and I've always enjoyed the game. I followed very closely the entire process of bringing a professional team to Nashville, knew a few of the people that were involved in the process of it. So I wasn't involved myself or anything, but watched it with great interest as that whole process unfolded. I didn't actually attend my first game until the COVID season, or not. I guess it was right after the COVID season, or when at the tail end of that season, did they start allowing fans back in, John? Was that right?
It was like a few thousand, maybe.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Yeah.
You brought me to my first game.
Yeah.
I think it was that season, and it was lightly attended at the Titan Stadium there, and I just had a blast. I loved it. Fell in love with it from that moment on. Became a season ticket holder the next season, the first season in Geodis, and just been an avid supporter ever since. Also joined the Assembly supporter group, and just happy to be here talking soccer with you guys. It's been a fun ride, and I'm looking forward to a whole lot more in the future. So another big part of Electric Gold is, as we discuss soccer, it only makes sense that we accompany such discussion with a tasty beverage. And so we like to always discuss what beers we're drinking during the podcast while we're talking. And it usually explains the ideas and opinions that we share during such discussion. So, Evan, we'll start with you tonight. What are you drinking?
Oh, okay. Well, before I tell you what I'm drinking tonight, can I give a quick shout out to McCreary's Pub down on the square in Columbia, Tennessee, where I was recently, and a special section on their beer menu where they feature half and half mixes of the different Irish beers and ciders. And I had a Blacksmith, which was a Guinness and a Smithwick's, and it was fantastic. It never occurred to me to try such a thing, but it was great. So great job on that, McCreary's down in Columbia. What I'm drinking tonight, boys, is not necessarily very fitting since it's so nice and warm outside, but I'm trying to finish up my holiday beer. So if you will indulge me, I'm having an Old Fezziwig tonight. So Sam Adams Old Fezziwig. This is a spiced brown ale that balances ginger and orange peel with some toffee and caramel notes. It's really delicious. It's spicy and bold, kind of like me in the club.
Nice. Well, you got to make room for the spring beers that are coming soon. So you got to clear those out of your fridge.
I'm almost there. I'm almost ready.
Right on. And John, what are you having this evening?
I've kind of got the same situation. I got this beer around Christmas time and kind of held on to it thinking, we'll probably do a podcast right before the season starts. It'll be cold, right? Well, it's 75 freaking degrees outside. What I've got, I'm representing a Nashville brewery, Southern Grist Brewing. I am drinking what is called a Southside Pie. It is a dessert-inspired sour ale with apple, cranberry, cinnamon apples, walnuts, and vanilla beans.
Holy crap.
It is so good. It tastes like an apple pie, like the best apple pie you ever had. But it's a beer, so it's even better. I do, unfortunately, I did, when I was researching it, I did discover that it's a collaboration with a brewery called Streetside Brewery, who unfortunately are from the city of Cincinnati. Still, despite that, it's a great beer. So I'm gonna praise the Nashville side of the collaboration.
There you go. I guess we can let that one slide. Normally, I wouldn't allow you to let such a liquid touch your lips, but this time we'll give you a pass.
Yeah.
Tonight, I am actually, let me just kind of paint a picture for you boys. I have always been very averse to drinking cider at all. I've never been a cider person. Going back to when I first started drinking alcohol in college, legally, of course, and I tried ciders. I found them too sweet. Just I didn't enjoy the flavor of them at all, and immediately just jumped ship on the whole cider train. I wasn't having any part of it, and I've pretty much held that whole mantra for my entire adult life. But this evening, I might be turning over a new leaf, boys, because tonight I'm drinking a selection from Austin E-Ciders. This is out of Austin, Texas. Started by an Englishman who traveled to Austin or relocated there and opened up a brewery, or it's actually, they just make ciders. And this particular one is the Blood Orange cider. In 2017, it won the silver medal in the World Cider Championships. It is a blend of blood oranges from Italy and then bittersweet heirloom apples. So it's got a really zesty twist to it, and I love it. It's a great crisp beer, or not beer, a crisp cider for the nice weather that you're just referring to, John. And I can't recommend it highly enough. So here's to you boys and returning for this new season, and also for me kicking my aversion to ciders. Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers, boys.
Okay, well, normally this time in the podcast, we do a quick weekend review, but we've got a lot to review since it's been an entire off season. So this is our off season in review. It's been a busy offseason for the Nashville Soccer Club. The 2024 season was a disappointing campaign that saw the team underperform mightily, finishing in 13th place in the Eastern Conference of Major League Soccer and missing the playoffs for the first time since joining the MLS. The team battled numerous key injuries throughout the year, especially to their defense, and also struggled to overcome a coaching carousel that saw the dismissal of their only coach they've ever known, Gary Smith, an up-and-down performance for interim coach Rumba Monthali, and finally a late-season appointment of U.S. national team assistant B.J. Callahan as the new head coach of the future. Of particular concern was Nashville's continued struggle to generate scoring, as they were next to last in goals scored in the MLS, and they netted a goal differential of -16 on their way to an overall record of 9 wins, 16 losses, and 9 draws. There was substantial criticism from fans and media alike, this podcast included, about the lack of effectiveness of the Nashville midfield. And Nashville also wrestled with a noticeable regression of scoring from their top offensive threat in Hani Mukhtar. All of this prompted a major overhaul of the team's roster in the offseason. So let's do a quick review. The team opted not to resign goalkeeper Ben Martino, defenders Joey Skinner and Brent Kallman, midfielders Anibal Godoy, Brian Anunga, Amar Sejic, and Drew Yearwood, and also forward Forster Ajago. They traded away defenders Lucas McNaughton and Shaq Moore, and midfielder Sean Davis. The team did re-sign defender Josh Bauer, and they also waived often injured midfielder Randall Leal and backup goalie Elliot Panico. Joining the team are midfielders Edvard Tagseth, Brian Acosta, and Gaston Brugman. Goalie Xavier Valdez, defender Andy Najjar. The team has also made several changes to their coaching staff, vacating holdovers from Gary Smith and replacing them with Coach Callahan's preferred choices. The roster is now composed of forwards Tyler Boyd, Teal Bunbury, Adam Sipic, Wubens Pasius, and Sam Surridge. Midfielders Jacob Schaffelberg, Brian Acosta, Isaiah Jones, Gaston Brugman, Hani Mukhtar, Patrick Yazbek, and Alex Muil. Defenders Dan Lovitz, Jack Mayer, Andy Najjar, Captain Walker Zimmerman, Josh Bauer, Julian Gaines, Jonathan Perez, and Taylor Washington. And goalkeepers Joe Willis and Xavier Valdez. Deeper on the bench are defenders Christopher Applewhite and Yason Palacios, forward Maximus Eck, and goalie Brian Schwake. The team's first action together took place this past weekend when they faced off in a friendly against USL champs Lexington SC at Geodis Park. This was an extended match with 4 periods of play, a 45-minute segment followed by a shorter 15-minute segment, and then halftime, and then another 45-15 split. All the action happened in the first 45-minute section where designated player Sam Surridge nabbed a hat trick. 2 of his goals were scored off of Hani Mukhtar free kicks, and the middle goal was scored on a beautiful series of 20 passes throughout the pitch that included finishing touches by Tagseth, Mukhtar, and a final cross by Yazbek. Nashville wasn't seriously threatened for the rest of the match, even when they rolled out their second string in the second half of the match. And one other significant moment occurred when third-string goalie Brian Schwake saved a Lexington penalty late in the second 45-minute period. So, fellas, lots happened this offseason. We're going to be watching a brand new team, I think, in 2025. What's your instant reactions or thoughts that you've had to all of the different moves that the team has made this offseason? Evan, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think we've made some good moves, picked up some solid players and built some depth in some key positions. But I think maybe just as important is who we offloaded this offseason. To name one, Randall Leal, we bought out his contract and are able to get rid of that over $1 million salary. So, as we've discussed at length, he was very rarely fit and so was a real drain on the roster. So anyway, almost as good for what we were able to get rid of as what we added. And then as far as the results so far of the preseason games, I don't really get too worked up one way or the other about the preseason. It's just, honestly, I'm starting at this point to just kind of tune it out. So, let's just see what happens on match day 1.
I totally agree, especially, they're playing a USL team. And while they were USL champs, we can't read very much into that match at all. It was nice for them to go out and get some exercise together and I guess, start to feel out some chemistry, but there's not much significance I don't think you can take from that. John, you have any impressions about all the offseason moves that the team has made?
Just general excitement. I mean, we have to presume that BJ Callahan gave a list of what he's looking for, and the players that we have brought in and the players we let go, it's pretty clear that he didn't like much of the team that he had last year, and we've brought in younger players at a lot of positions. We did bring in some veterans where we need some. And Nahar, I think at right back is going to be a really good addition. I don't know if he's better than Shaq Moore, but if you're looking at salary, I think it's a big win. Clearly, we have to. So yeah, it's just excitement. We don't know what to expect with this team because like you're saying, preseason games don't mean anything. By all accounts, I didn't get to go see the game, but the team did play well. And there's, in particular, some excitement about the combo on the right side between Nahar, Tagseth, and Hani, kind of working with them in unison. Produced some good moves, apparently. So, yeah, I can't wait to see how we look in games that matter.
Do either of you guys remember an offseason that's been more active for Nashville since their inception? I mean, this is the most activity that we've had with roster changes in an offseason since the team was founded. Am I right?
Oh, by far, yeah.
Yeah.
We've never made too many moves. We've pretty much been a core, and when we made moves, it's only to replace players that left. Like we signed Shaq Moore to replace Alistair Johnson. We signed Serge because we needed a striker after Sapong declined and left. It's been like for like. So this is a whole new era. Nashville 2.0, baby.
Evan, do you think that these type of moves would have happened if Gary Smith was still the coach?
Well, if we had the same season, maybe not quite as many, but it would have looked a little bit more like this offseason than previous offseasons just by necessity. I think Jacobs or, even Ian Ayre would have mandated that we start churning that roster, but no, it wouldn't be quite like this. No, I think John's right. I think Callahan was probably looking top to bottom and just trying to, get rid of as much as he possibly could.
Yeah, and I'll tell you where I think the mandate came from more than anywhere is from the fan base. That's what I read into it. You guys are both very tuned in to the happenings of Nashville fandom. What did you guys see and hear from the fan base, especially towards the end of last season, both online or, through word of mouth? I mean, what was the sentiment?
We don't like this team. Nobody was feeling good. I didn't see anybody who was like, oh, man, I love this team.
So much fun to watch.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, God, they had to make changes. And sure enough, they did. I mean, even though we all season last year, we would have been like, oh, they've got to make changes. Oh, they got to make changes because they suck. In the past, I still kind of in the back of my head thought we probably won't change that much. We'll probably show up with the same team. But hey, to the team's credit, they really did make the changes. They put the money where their mouth was. Not that they brought in huge money signings or anything, but they've made the changes they needed to.
Yeah, I really believe that message was received loud and clear by the management of the team that they have to roll out a different solution on the field this year. fans, I think, were going to be very upset if we were going to see more Brian Anunga this year. It was time to move on from some of these things. Not that it was all his fault. He did an admirable job for what he was asked to do, but it was just time to move on from a lot of these players. There's still a couple lingering probably who I'm curious what their future is going to look like with the team, but we've got a fresh set of faces. I think I may have even remarked at one point, it's time to flush the toilet on the midfield. And they did.
And we did, yeah.
There's not one starting midfielder from last season that's still with the team, I don't think. I mean, Sean Davis is gone, Anunga's gone, and Godoy is gone. I mean, if you count Schaffelberg, I guess he's a midfielder and Hani, but they're really more offensively minded than like defensive midfielders that are, connecting the dot between defense and offense. So anyway, I think message was heard loud and clear by management, and kudos to them. We don't often give them kudos on this podcast, but I'd like to extend kudos to the team's roster management for hearing the message and taking action to try and provide us with a better overall team to watch in 2025. So I'm excited. And with that, that's a good transition piece to roll into one of our favorite parts of the podcast. This is going to be where normally we'd look back at the past week and say what was the thing that we liked the best about the week. But in this particular case, again, because we're looking at the whole offseason, this is going to be for everything from that last final whistle in 2024 to now. This is an entire offseason of, oh, hell yeah. John, we will start with you. What's your oh, hell yeah moment of this offseason?
I haven't seen him play yet, but I have to go with Edvard Tagseth. He seems to be the fan favorite among everybody who's seen him. And it just the look of him. He just looks like kind of cocky dude, and I like it. Just the look of him, he reminds me of a young Dax McCarty. I love Dax McCarty. So, I mean, yeah. And when I fell in love with him, the team posted the pictures. They played it was a 0-0 draw with Charlotte. And Charlotte's, their big signing this year is Wilfried Zaha, who's been like a Premier League star. And Tagseth, just from the pictures, you could tell, did something to piss off Zaha and was just laughing. And I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to like this dude.
Yeah, he's a Norwegian player. He looks very Nordic. He's like a Viking or something. Yeah. He pairs with Zimmerman on your team, and
yeah, he does.
We're assembling quite a Viking ship full of excellent soccer players. His pedigree is great. I'm excited to watch him play. Let's see. He's 24 years old. His birthday was just last week. So, he was part of the Liverpool youth system. So he's definitely got some pedigree, and he's played internationally for Norway's youth teams as well. So young, energetic, doesn't seem like he's going to take much shit off of anybody. So looking forward to seeing his glorious mane running around the field and serving up some great volleys to our excellent front, whatever. Okay. Evan, what's your oh, hell yeah moment?
Oh, man. Listen, this came probably just a few days ago, a week ago, maybe. We are back in U.S. Open Cup, baby. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Guys, I mean, look, Leagues Cup the first year was kind of a novel idea. It was kind of exciting. And of course, it worked out mostly in our favor because Nashville did so well. But then, last summer, I mean, nobody cared about this thing. And we were all really missing Open Cup. So the fact that we are back in it and we'll have the opportunity to, maybe play an in-state rival like Chattanooga or some USL team that we have, had a rivalry with before, like Louisville. I mean, this is just such great news. So again, when I saw this, I was just like, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a lot more fun, I think, to watch than the Leagues Cup, and it's less intrusive to the season, specifically for our starters, than Leagues Cup is. So it'll be a fun tournament to watch. I'm glad we're a part of it. All right. So we've done the all hell yes. Of course, the flip side of that is looking at the things that we liked the least during the off season. That would lead us to, oh, hell no. Evan, we will stick with you for this. What is your all hell nah moment of the off season?
Yeah, this also came just a few days ago when I asked you guys about it in our group chat. I think I remember maybe hearing this maybe back in the fall, but I had forgotten. And I asked you guys when Tyler Boyd was coming back, and y'all were like, yeah, not maybe till April or May. And I was just like, what? Oh, hell no. I was really hoping that we would have him back and ready to go from week 1. So yeah, really disappointed about that.
Definitely.
And if they're saying April or May, it might be July before we see them.
Yeah.
They'll have the best record of being truthful on that front. So I don't know. I hope I'm wrong.
We'll cross our fingers, but let's not get our hopes up. It may be a while before we see the tucked in wonder. All right, John, what is your all hell nah moment of the off season?
My all hell nah was just the rumored moves that didn't pan out. There were 2 in particular that we were kind of linked with that were really exciting possibilities. One was a guy named Tobias Gullikson, a Swedish guy. And both of them were Swedish guys. And the one I was really excited about was a dude named Ahmed Kassem. I suppose that's how you pronounce it. He's a Swedish, but I think Iraqi parentage. And when we kind of got linked with him, his team was actually playing in the Europa League. And so I decided, I'm going to watch this guy. I watched 2 games of his. That dude is a John Lewis player if there ever was one. I fell in love with him. He's tall. He's over 6 foot. Lefty, smooth. I mean, winning headers, scoring headers, playmaking. I was like, oh my God. And I think he's only 21. And I was like, man, this guy could really be the next Hani Mukhtar if he comes over here. It didn't pan out. I think he kind of realized he might be too good to come over to the stage. Because honestly, like just looking at him, I would say, oh, he could play with a good Dutch or Belgian or like kind of the mid-level European leagues. I think he can make a move there and maybe move on from there even. So just the fact that we got so close and it didn't pan out. Oh hell no! Why didn't you come eat hot chicken with me?
Beers and ciders on us if you come to Nashville.
I know. You would never had to buy a thing.
What's with the team scouting of Scandinavian leagues? I mean, that is a side quest that I did not expect. Like Tagseth and then these other guys that were being rumored. We're obviously watching those leagues closely. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah. Well, Yazbek is from the Norwegian league too. I have conspiracy theories about this.
Well, I'd love to hear them.
There was a dude named Robin Schrute who was on the first USL team back in 2018. Didn't play much. And I didn't even think about the guy. Like, I have a habit of following everybody who's on NSC on social media, and I just don't forget to not follow them. And all of a sudden, I looked up, and one day it popped up in my timeline. It was an Instagram post by Robin Schrute. He was coaching with Rosenborg. He coaches their women's team, and that's the club that Tagseth that we signed from. And I was like, now that's weird. Mm-hmm. And I looked it up, and commenting on all of Robin Schrute's posts was none other than Ian Doyle, who was also on the USL team, who is now Liam Doyle. And he is now he's one of our top executives. He's like director of football operations. He was the general manager for Huntsville for a while. And so I have a theory that old Schruty is talking to Liam Doyle, and then we send scouts and check it out. But it's not a bad move because those Scandinavian leagues have the same season as us. They go from like March to October or whatever because it's so cold in the winter. So I'm thinking the players, it would kind of be an easy adaptation because we'd have the same off season. Yeah. Maybe that's the thinking. And so it's a good idea, I think.
I love this conspiracy. And I also think it's a good idea because it's probably not one of the more prominent leagues or group of leagues that's being scouted by major teams, especially in the U.S. They're probably looking at South America. And I think it's a good zag when the others are zigging, for us to look in a specific spot like that may be underserved. We may find some diamonds in the rough there. And it looks so far like we're finding some success. We're finding quality players there and getting them to come to Nashville, which is great. So looking forward to seeing what other Vikings can we recruit to.
Let's have a whole team of Vikings.
I like it. Well, on the heels of that conspiracy, it's a great time for us to shift gears into what are our hottest takes for either this offseason or the upcoming season. Guys, it's time for the first of 2025's Nashville Hot Chicken Takes.
My hot chicken take is that these owners got skills to shake, entertain the crowd and get on the field. 'Cause why the fuck not?
Okay, I know you guys, it's important who gets to go first here because often you have the same takes, so you might steal each other's thunder. I just choose this randomly and just eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I don't know. John, go ahead and go first. What's your hot chicken take?
Well, I think for one, this is where the costumes and the wrestling goes back in. We need to wrestle. Me and Evan need to wrestle each other to see who goes first.
At least arm wrestle, if nothing else.
Yeah. All right, here's my hot take. The first 3 months of this season are the most important 3 months in Nashville SC Club history.
Ooh.
From February 22nd through May 31st, to me, if we are not looking good by May 31st, you may see an entirely different team. It's certainly by next year, maybe even after July. Because here's why I say that. We have 10 of our first 17 games at home. So we've talked in the past that our lack of turning Giotis into that fortress. I'm hoping, this new aggressive style that BJ is kind of bringing in, that this will inspire more home victories, like games where we might get outplayed, but fight hard and win a game 3-2. On some flukes, just where we play exciting stuff and the crowd gets behind us. We really have to make these home games count. And the reason I say they're so important, I think if we're not at least 5th or 6th in the East by that point, I feel that we might start getting some offers for some of our players that we wouldn't be able to turn down. Mm-hmm. In particular, we talked about Schaffelberg a lot. Schaffelberg has obviously gotten interest from European teams before. I feel Sam Surridge could potentially be a target for English championship teams, the second division over in England, because he's got a history of succeeding in the championship level. We signed him from Nottingham Forest, where he helped get them promoted. And now they might win the Premier League this year. They might get the Champions League. That's a good team. But they might not be in the Premier League if it wasn't for Sam Surridge. And I feel like he's exactly the kind of guy, a team that's trying to make that push into the Premier League, he'd be a good signing. And if we're floundering, we may look at getting rid of our designated players where we can and start anew. This is what I feel. And so by the time of that New York City game on May 31st, if we're not 5th or 6th, it may be all hell breaking loose for NSC.
Surridge to Wrexham come calling. I mean,
yeah,
might overpay.
Yeah, I really think it really might. I mean, and who would turn them down? I mean, you get your face on millions of TVs around the world. You might get in the next Deadpool movie,
right? Then you just extend that a little bit further. Hani Mukhtar,
exactly.
I mean,
he seems happy here. He might say, I can get that one last payday. Maybe finally make that move to Qatar or Saudi Arabia, like was rumored a few years ago. Cash in on his talent,
Right.
I already think this might be the last year for Zimmerman one way or another, because we're probably not going to want to re-up the designated player tag on him. So, I mean, he's not going to want – I wouldn't want to take a salary cut, so I wouldn't blame him for looking elsewhere if that's the case. So, yeah, it could all go haywire. But if we play well, if we get the home crowd behind us, and we become the it thing in Nashville, then let it ride, baby. We can go all the way. But it all comes down to this starting the season well, especially this home games. That's how I feel. That's my hot chicken take.
I love it. Evan, I know you've got a scathing hot take over there as well.
Hope so. But first of all, I got to say, if we were to lose Surge, that would be really, really devastating, I think. I mean, he really seems to be finally finding his footing here and looking more and more consistently like a true goal scorer. So that would be devastating. But anyway, okay, so for my hot take, I'm going to go ahead and just say that Edvard Tagseth is the new Honey Moot.
That is flaming hot.
I know. But here's what I'm thinking, boys. So he's young, he's smallish, he's fast. I don't know if you guys have watched any of his highlight videos and things on YouTube, but he's constantly running. He is an absolute energizer bunny, has good technique, has some cheeky skills. I really think that maybe not this season, hopefully so, but, give him a year or two, and he just might be an MVP caliber player.
Wow. Woo.
Wow.
My mouth is burning.
Love it.
Can he take corner kicks? I'd love to know that.
If he can just clear that first defender, that's good enough for me.
Yeah, John, with all due respect, Evan just won the hot takes for this round.
Yeah, he won.
Well done.
Hats off.
And in second position, too, which is even better. Yeah, well done, Evan. I think we all would love to see Tagseth step in and immediately be an impact player of that sort. And who knows how much longer Mukhtar has with the team. I hope it's a long time. I hope he goes down as the greatest Nashville player of all time. But at some point, it's going to reach its end of its course, and it'd be great to have that player ready to step in and take the reins, pass the baton to Tagseth and let him roll. So exciting stuff. Great stuff, guys. That is how you start the season with some hot chicken takes. Well done. It's the beginning of February, and it's the season of love, guys. Valentine's Day coming up. It's next Friday. Did you know that?
No.
You better get prepared. I'll let you know now. February 14th, it's on a Friday. And if you haven't gotten your sweetheart something yet, you better get on it because time is running out. But I thought it would be a great opportunity for us to pick out love songs that we want to dedicate to a player or something related to the team. So it's going to give you each an opportunity to pick out your dedication, your love dedication for Nashville SC coming up on Valentine's Day. And Evan, we'll start with you. What's your dedication?
Oh, okay. Well, it's a fun assignment. All right. I'll dedicate my song to Gaston Brugman,
Okay.
who is, now correct me if I'm wrong, but he was the MVP from MLS Cup, correct?
Yep.
He also gives us an opportunity to get rid of Sean Davis because that was the big trade there. And so I want to welcome him to Nashville and thank him for that with the Gaston song from, what is that, Beauty and the Beast? Here's some excerpts for our new player. No one's slick as Gaston. No one's quick as Gaston. No one's neck is as incredibly thick as Gaston. No one hits like Gaston, matches wits like Gaston. In a spitting match, nobody spits like Gaston. No one shoots like Gaston, makes those buttes like Gaston, then goes tromping around wearing boots like Gaston. So there you go. My dedication to our new Gaston.
I love it.
Great selection. And a surprise selection. I didn't see that one coming. Great stuff. John, what's your Valentine for Nashville SC this season?
My Valentine isn't to a particular player. It's to the concept of change. And we've been talking about it all episode. This is obviously the time of change. And so I picked out one of my favorite songs in the world. The song is called Seasons, and in parentheses, Waiting on You. And it's by an American synth pop band called Future Islands. Now, if you ask me if there's any other Future Islands songs that are any good, I have no idea. I've never heard any great ones. But this song is amazing. It's a love song. And let's see what I had the lyrics. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to sing a little bit of the lyrics. Seasons change, and I've tried hard just to soften you. The seasons change, but I've grown tired trying to change for you. 'Cause I've been waiting on you. I've been waiting on you. As it breaks, the summer will wake, but the winter will wash what is left of the taste. As it breaks, the summer will warm, but the winter will crave what has gone, will crave what has all gone away. And to me, a song kind of illustrates basically the passage of time. The winter will fade away. Right now, I mean, it feels like summer today. We've got a little bit of winter left, but by the summer, we'll feel love again. And then all these things that we've been holding on to will fade away. It will be the summer. It will be the arrival of Nashville 2.0, and we will fall in love with this team.
I love it. I'm so excited. That's a great sentiment, and I'm looking so forward to it. All right, guys. Well, I had a really difficult choice. I landed on 2 different dedications, 2 different Valentines, and I just could not make the decision. Is it okay if I share both of them with you guys? Is that okay?
Go right ahead.
If I bend the rules a little bit. First one goes to our leader and hero, Hani Mukhtar, and it's by that exceptional author of so many love songs, George Clinton. Do fries go with that shape? And let me just read a little bit of excerpt of that beautiful song. Oh, he says the damnedest things. Last night when he was running games, he said, "Baby, can I cut your cake? Oh, can I have it my way? Don't I deserve a break today? Them burns, I like the way you bake. Running fever at 110. You know you look marvelous. Hottie, come back here." He's going to be rejuvenated. This new team around him.
Yes.
Better tools, better support. I think Hani's going to surprise us. He's got a little bit something left in the tank for us all. And we're going to see he's got some fries to go with that shake this year. So I'm excited about that.
Love that.
Now, I've got one more. Again, I couldn't resist. We're in Music City. It's the home of country music. So I had to veer off and make a selection from, the legends of country music, and in particular, a duet between Conway Twitty and Loretta Lynn called "You're the Reason Our Kids Are Ugly." And it's dedicated to Alex Moyle. You're the reason our kids are ugly, little darling, but looks ain't everything, and money ain't everything. I love you just the same. Well, you're the reason I changed to beer from soda pop, and you're the reason I never get to go to the beauty shop. You're the reason our kids are ugly, little darling, but looks ain't everything, and money ain't everything. I love you just the same.
Oh,
That's
man.
for Alex.
Yes, happy Valentine's, Alex. We love that, dude.
Right, so, folks, happy Valentine's Day. Make sure you don't forget. You don't want to be in the doghouse. And, share some love with NSC while you're at it. Okay, guys, shifting gears. It's going to be time to wrap up here shortly. But before we do, normally we do a weekend preview. I don't really think we have much to preview until a couple weeks from now. But I'd love to just hear a few predictions from you guys about what we might expect here for the first month of the season or so. John, what's your prediction out of the gate for NSC this year?
I think we're going to come out flying. I really do. The first game is against New England. That team sucks. We have to beat them. Opening game, the crowd is going to be 100% with you. No matter what happens the rest of the year, the first game, the crowd is going to be amped up. We're going to take care of New England. And I think we're just going to keep building. The road games might be kind of ugly, might even kind of reminiscent of Gary Ball. But if we get draws in those games, fine with me. Win the home games, draw the road games, and you're flying high. And I think that's pretty much what's going to happen. I think we're going to come out strong and surprising.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to that. Evan, do you have any predictions for the first month or so of the season?
Oh, me. Well, I don't disagree with you, John, that the first, did you say 3 months are absolutely critical to this season and this existing squad. But I am not as optimistic about the first stretch of games. I do think that we will beat the Revs in game 1, but I think we might struggle with several of the next matches. I think Red Bulls will be tough. I think we might be able to squeak out a win against Portland. They weren't that great last year, but then you've got Philadelphia and Montreal next, both really good squads. So I don't know if I'm as optimistic. I'm going to go ahead and go on the record as saying that I think we might start out a little slower, but I do think that, when all of these new players have had time to gel in actual real counting MLS games, I think that they will be very competitive. And I do think we are going to have a better season this year.
Yeah, you make a great point, Evan. The schedule out of the gate is on the tougher side. New England is a easier opponent based on what happened last year. But then you look at Red Bulls, Portland, so-so, Philly, Montreal should be a reasonable opponent for us. We should be able to handle that one. But then for me, the key game is March 29th, facing off against FC Cincinnati. It's home. It's here in Nashville at Geodis Park. That's the one, guys. Everybody's got to turn out for that game. We got to bring it as fans and support the team. And we got to go out and get that win. If nothing else, just like we said last year, if nothing else happens this year, you got to beat Cincinnati. So my prediction is we're going to put everything we got, throw everything, the kitchen sink, whatever else into that game. We got to win that one. So my prediction is we come away with a win there.
Well, we know who Cincinnati's big signing of the offseason was, right?
Tell us.
Brian Anunga.
Oh, right. Yeah.
We probably don't see it that way.
That's going to be a tough hill for us to overcome there, but we'll try our best. This is completely unrelated, but I just saw it happen today. Did you see the big move that happened today in the MLS?
Yeah, Cucho left.
Cucho is gone from Columbus. That's big news, and I wonder how that's going to affect their overall effectiveness because, their offense was centered around him.
Yeah.
He's heading out to Real Betis, I think it's what it's called. Yeah. So it's going to be a whole different look from Columbus this year. They won the MLS Cup in 2023. They won Leagues Cup in 2024. They were a finalist in the CONCACAF Champions Cup last year. He won MVP in 2023, and he was second place last year. So, he's an incredible player, and it's going to be a big hole that Columbus is going to have to try and fill there. So, good luck, suckers. We got Tagseth.
Around the league, though, we will say this. There's still some moves to come since these big stars is looking like he's going to be moving, I think, to River Plate in Argentina. And then Evander, he was the big star for Portland Timbers and fell out big time. He's rumored, if Acosta leaves, to be going to Cincy, but who knows where he ends up. There's going to be a lot of movement between now and the start of the season because our window, like MLS window, just started technically, where the European window just finished today. So, yeah, in between the clubs, there could be a lot of movement. So there's no telling how teams are going to look by then.
True.
So to bring that back to NSC, do you guys see us maybe making any additional?
That was the second part. I was going to say everybody in MLS except for Nashville. We have so little. I can see kind of bit players that come in. Like we had a Fafa Pico 2 years ago. I can see like an MLS vet coming in, kind of a journeyman. But I couldn't see. I really don't see us getting in line for Evander or the big stars like that.
Yeah, we started the off season with one of the smallest banks of GAM or general allocation money available to throw around. And though we have made some transactions to try and build that war chest up a little bit, I think we're still on the weaker side as compared to some of the other big teams in the league. So it'll be a tough uphill battle for us to compete in terms of any kind of like big bomb drops, but as John said, there's probably some ancillary pieces that we can add along the way that can complement what we're trying to do. But we better hope that we've got the meat and potatoes of an effective team already on the roster right now. That's my opinion. All right, guys, let's wrap this up. It's been a great discussion. Before we get going, John, I'd love to hear for all the listeners, and remember, we've got a lot of new ones that are signing up just now and discovering us for the first time. How do they reach out and talk to us?
I'm glad you asked, Ryan. We are all over social media. We have Facebook, Instagram, X, formerly Twitter, and we're Electric Gold NSC on those platforms. Reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. We do this for you personally, whoever's listening to me right now. We are doing this for you, because otherwise we'd just be three guys sitting in a bar drinking beers and talking about NSC.
Yeah.
So it's nice that we own microphones and get published on the internet. So yeah, we want to hear from you. Look us up. And we also have Spotify playlist. And man, music, we're Music City born and bred. So music is in our bones, and music is obviously a big part of what we talk about. So we have a playlist of every song we have ever talked about, every song even thought of during the first season. And of course, it will continue growing with every episode. So you're going to hear all the great songs we mentioned tonight. Pump that sucker up. It puts the music in Music City.
Yeah. Look up that Spotify playlist, Electric Gold NSC on Spotify. You'll find the podcast there, and you'll also find our playlist. We'll add those love songs that we mentioned this evening to the list. And thank you, John. Yeah, we encourage feedback from our listeners. We'd love to hear from you guys. All right. Well, I really appreciate the evening. The discussion tonight's been great, guys. You did a great job. We're back. It's season 2. I can't believe it. It's time. And I'm so ready. I'm so ready for a great season. In the meantime, while we're waiting for the season to start, just want to encourage everybody, get your tickets, get your plans together, come out to the games. It's one thing to listen to a podcast and watch the game from the confines of your living room, on Apple TV, sitting on your couch being a lazy bastard. But it's another thing altogether to get out and come to Geodis and experience the game day festivities. It's another level, and the team needs you. The team needs the support. We got lackluster last season, so I really want to see a rebound, not just from the team's performance, but also from the fans as well. So get out, fill up Geodis Park, and be awesome fans this season. And with that, guys, have a great evening, and keep on showing your support for the team, and keep on saying it. Come on, you boys in gold.
Come on, you boys in gold.
Come on, you boys in gold.
Under cities, neon lights, talking dreams on Friday nights. Electric vibes and stories told. Come on, you boys in gold. Waves of laughter in the air. Podcast pals without a care. Sharing glorious thoughts out loud. Come on, you boys in gold. Waves of laughter in the air. Podcast pals without a care. Sharing glorious thoughts out loud. Come on, you boys in gold. Electric gold, love so bold. Every tale like treasure gold. Voices echo through the night. Come on, you boys in gold. From the highs and through the lows, shining bright where passion grows. And their words were never old. Come on, you boys in gold. Soundtrack to our endless dreams, flowing soft like gentle streams. In their stories warm consoled. Come on, you boys in gold. In each beat, in every word, inspiration's always heard. Moments cherished, tales retold. Come on, you boys in gold. Electric gold, love so bold. Every tale like treasure gold. Oh. passion grows.